This is from the New York Post, the paper that I preferred than the New York Times. New York Times is like reading an obituary column, while the New York Post has the kind of sense of humor that I can thoroughly appreciate. Now, it says here, narcissism is inherited. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Now, what do you mean by narcissism? Is it like, I'm so good looking I can't even deal with myself? Then it is inherited because you got good looking parents. They make you good looking. You have a longer generation of people who go, I'm a good looking person, but it's just narcissism, you're self centered about yourself. And they come from a long line of people who are self centered about themselves. So does that mean that you didn't get enough love of your parents because they were so busy loving themselves? No, I believe this is the most narcissistic generation ever. It used to be actors were the ones that were all narcissistic, and the rest of the population were pretty much, so they're neither here nor there. They had one or two pictures of themselves with other people, of course, but an actor, you could tell they had up a lot of pictures, headshots of them just themselves. Now you go into somebody's house, you go, look, this is an ode to me, this looks like, and not to me, but to them. They love themselves, and they gotta take a selfie every day. Go, look at me, oh, look at me. Oh, I don't know. Talk about narcissistic. Our illustrious governor is going to stop ICE from getting all the murderers and the killers and the terrible people, and then the people who are just invading the country just steal jobs from the Americans. Because no, we want those jobs. We're not against those jobs. Pay us a decent wage and we'll take those jobs. See, that's the thing. Well, capitalism sometimes goes off the rails too because we don't want to pay anybody no money. And on the other hand, that opens up the door. Let me open the door for the commies. And the commies are so hot stuff. People keep on, they got the hammer and sickle there, and that's more responsible for killing individual lives than a twisted cross. The twisted cross only had of course, just cross killed quite a few people between their genocide and their just starting World War II, which caused 80 million people. But then again, the commies, just in one country, China alone, they killed about 100 million people. And that's just one, and it's international. So, and it keeps coming back like Jason. I swear to God. People, no, people generally don't run around with swastikas all over themselves, but they have hammer and sickle. Oh, I'm a commie and I love people. And then they beat the people down. And the people run away. And the commies always say, well, if you just didn't let us steal more stuff than we could, we'd do that. We got Huckle. Huckle was always the mask. I call it a mask because she got enough Botox in her face to. That's a lot. That's a lot of Botox. Let me tell you something. Her face don't move, and it's as cold as ice. As cold as she is. The world's getting more and more under control. They're gonna have booze control. That your car, if you're drunk, can stop you from. You know, they'll say no, you had too much to drink. Wouldn't say, well, it'd be a female voice. Because it would be more natural for a female voice to be nagging you about that. And then, no, stop. You can't drive no more. Well, that's going to foster a tax on cars. And the car can't defend itself unless it will, unless it's a robot rebellion. Then it will defend itself. Jailhouse crock. The commies don't believe that people are guilty when they're guilty. Yeah, and this is not just robbery, because the commies say, well, that's redistribution of wealth. And that's because they were oppressed and for varying reasons, and they got the carte blanche to do the criminal activity. But then they do this with murderers. Jailhouse Crockers are going to let old guys, and not that old, about my age. And now I know I look really good. I look old, younger than I am, but I'm in my late 60s. And uh, and these guys are in their late 62s, maybe a year earlier, later or earlier, and they're gonna let them out. They're gonna say, well, they're too old, they can't do no more harm. Of course they can do harm. They could kill people, and some of them are child killers. Were you crazy, Democrats, Democrats? What's wrong with you? Sometimes I wonder about my own race, the white race. Miss Race, they have Miss Roper romps in which men and women go on boats that fly around dressed like Mrs. Roper with flamboyant clothing. Like Mrs. Roper was Mr. Roper's wife on Three's Company. She wasn't even the main actress. You have to be a real nerd to follow Miss Roper. But we're fun-loving white people. We do it. I didn't want to say anything because it's not part of these papers, but we got a pandemic coming maybe down the road. Worse when it gets 50% killing people. No, that wouldn't be good for the Miss Roper people. And you know what they bring? Because these people go into caves. Bird watchers, they go into caves. We're going to go into caves. We're going to investigate the caves. What you watching for birds? What are you doing going to a cave? There's a reason why people in ancient times didn't go just in willy-nilly into caves. Because there could be something in there. It could be a rat. It could be a demon. Or some old guy who said didn't want to be bothered. Meryl Streep. But, she said the Marvel movies were boring. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're really exciting, Meryl. Yeah, old bat. Yeah, movie, The Devil Wears Prada. It's true, Devil Wears Prada is scary because people like you and Meryl Streep really exist, and you have a very large influence on society and on female persuasions. Well, let me tell you something. The Marvel superhero movies were the best in the world at one point before they went off the deep end to wokeism. Almost linked to ice hunting. Omar, Omar, the trader that went into the Congress $50,000 and now it's $30 million. You know, and then she's saying, "Well, it was a typo." I had that, then I didn't have that. Then, you're taking the cutbacks and Somalia, the population. They had nothing to do. It was very cold there. We were from a hot environment, and they had nothing to do but hustle, 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 hustle. And they had to get heavy coats for the winter because the winter in Minnesota is not like the winter in Somaliland. The big squeeze. They're putting a big squeeze on all the Americans, all the American people. They're putting a big squeeze on all the, well, not all, yeah, man, but Democrats want to tax everybody. They say, oh, just the rich. I know it's not going to work out that way. It's not going to work out. It's going to be the middle class, the lower middle class, the people with small businesses. They'll squeeze them all out of existence because you want to have a one world government with just you and your little friends having it in charge. But it's not going to work. Not in Mr. Trump's watch. Oh, I love me a Trumpy, yes I do. Time to put the brakes on the Democratic Party. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to let the riders go who run down old people. As an old person, I resent this, and I'm gonna, I'll take my cane. I don't have a cane, but I'll bump you with my wheelchair. So you know what Zoom did? Or I just call him Zoom. He's our mayor, a commie mayor. And he went in front of this billionaire, one of the richest men in the world's building, and they said, "Look, he has a second residence. We're going to tax this guy out of business." Well, the guy said, "I'm going to take my business elsewhere," and he was going to invest like billions of dollars in the city, make 20,000 permanent jobs, and now he's not going to do it anymore because of that zombie, that commie bastard who comes from rich parents, by the way. Uh, Pope had a conflict with Trump because the Pope was saying he shouldn't be going for the war in the Middle East. Look, Trump, he had no choice. If they ever got atomic weapons or even close to it, it's going to be an atomic war in the Middle East, and that's going to be big bombs. Because the Israelis got a whole bunch of bombs they've had for years, and the Iranians just need a couple of bombs to that small space of Israel. Bing, bang, boom, hundreds of millions, billions, millions dead, radioactive clouds floating around Europe and everything. Well, and then anti-Semitism going because they'll blame it on the Jews, not the murderous mullahs who wanted to destroy Israel. Oh, Radio Rap. He raps. He's a good guy. He's grown into the job. He's very lovable and he's well spoken, Mr. Rubio. They're letting anti-Jewish moms at temple, and the mayors go for it. He's really, oh, how could this be? Jewish people, I thought you were clever than this, but and you let the guy in and all these Palestinians into high school or colleges, and you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it because they hate you. They want to destroy you because you humiliated them by taking the winning the Civil War there. Devilish Eastman, oh, Dershowitz says Epstein was not a pedophile. He was a pervert or something like because pedophiles are ones that go out to 12 and under. Anyway, he went from he's the older age. Girls were from 14, 15 or 16 to 18. He was just a bad guy. Come on, Desha was that you're giving yourself away. Did you sleep with one of these young girls? No. Not that I don't know how I have mixed emotions about this thing. Because people, once they go through puberty, the kids are used to ready for, action. And so what will we have as society is constrained on it? I tell you, the whole world's going crazy. Okay, now I'm gonna put this down here. Oh, well, I gotta shave. I gotta do something about me. Oh, okay. Oh. And see all my statues? They keep me young.